Often we think about love as an object rather than an action. We fall in love or we fall out of love. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that said, yeah, things weren't just working out. I guess we just fell out of love. It's kind of like, yeah, I got on the roller coaster and then I got off the roller coaster. However, love's not an object to be acquired or even discarded. Love is the action. In Paul's epistle to the church of Corinth, he tells us it's not enough to know what love is. It's about actually having the courage to love. Therein lies the problem. Do we truly understand the commitment that love demands? Often we choose to love someone or we choose not to love them, not realizing that love isn't about making that choice. We're called to love them. Look, I get it. Loving someone opens us up to all kinds of vulnerabilities. People will know who we really are. They'll see the good, the bad. They'll know our strengths, our weaknesses. They'll know exactly. And a lot of times we don't want that we don't want people to know who we are. Not only that, but love is committing to continue that love regardless of the circumstances or even the repercussions, for better or for worse. I mean, come on. That's scary stuff. Am I right? I mean, if we're looking at love in comparison to our horror movie, that'd be like Jason Voorhees playing Elmer Fudd. That'd be like Fred Krueger playing Shaggy. Zoinks! Right? Love is scary. So let me ask the question. Do you have the courage to love like Christ? Today, I want to tackle just one aspect of what true love is. That aspect is patience. Woe to the person who asks God to teach them patience. Let me tell you, if you're asking for patience, then it means you have to be placed in situations that require you to be patient. I'm Daniel Lee, and today I'm going to give you some pointers that'll help you deal with those situations that are trying your patience. So if you're down to your last nerve just trying to hang on, then like Axl Rose once said, all we need is a little patience. Yeah, yeah, just a little patience. Come on, let's go. One of the ways that you and I demonstrate an agape love is through patience. It's not enough to say that you feel patient, like sitting at an intersection quietly thumping on the steering wheel as you're patiently waiting for that person to cross the street in front of you. Remember how I said that love is always active, not passive? The difference would be like playing the pitcher position in a baseball game versus a spectator watching the game sitting in the stand. To actively demonstrate patience, you truly have to be patient. Love requires a vigorous involvement. You have to be an active participant. You have to live your patience. Paul isn't trying to give us a simple idea to play around with at our leisure. What he's saying is we should be living this every day in our life. We should be living love. We're expected to be, like I said, active participants, not passive spectators. For us to understand what true love is, we need to open our hearts, give love out. That's a hard thing to do because we want to stay guarded. We don't want to let people in. We want to stay safe. We don't want to worry about people knowing who we really are. But isn't the meaning of the word Christian to be Christ-like? We must act like Christ. We have to live like Christ. We have to love like Christ. In the language of my generation, WWJD.
What the heck are you talking about?
I am so old. Let me give you an example. Edwin Stanton was one of Abraham Lincoln's earliest political foes. It's been said that Stanton referred to Lincoln as the original gorilla, a low cunning clown, and that it was silly for people to travel to Africa to see a gorilla when they could easily find one in Springfield, Illinois. Lincoln never responded to the slander. But when he needed a Secretary of War as president, he turned to Stanton. His friends, perplexed, said, "Why in the world would you choose someone like him, especially after how poorly he spoke of you?" Lincoln responded, "Because he's the best man for the job." Years later, while the body of Lincoln, who was assassinated, lay in state, Stanton is said to have peered into the coffin and he wept. He said, "There lies the greatest ruler of men the world has ever seen." It was Lincoln's long suffering, his non-retaliatory state, that finally broke Stanton's hostility. Lincoln won Stanton's friendship. The two would become not just great friends, but comrades, respecting each other. And history says that Stanton had a great impact in not just Lincoln's life, but even in the Civil War. The only way for you or I to understand patience is by applying it to our daily lives. Why is it that today we seem to glorify violence? Am I right? Aristotle, who's widely regarded as one of the greatest thinkers in the history of Western science and philosophy, advocated for the virtue of refusing to accept insult or hurt. We're not going to take it. Twisted sister. Dude, a person should retaliate for even the tiniest of offenses. To put it another way, he believed that vengeance is a virtue. Today, society seemingly embraces that idea by making heroes out of those who would stand up for their own gain above everything else. We view those that take matters into their own hands as being courageous and strong. And those who quietly struggle for change are weak and abused. The problem here is that real patience requires strength. Now, to be clear, I'm not suggesting that a person allow themselves to be in a position where they're abused. I'm not. I'm not saying that you should just stand there when your life's in danger. And yet, law enforcement, emergency responders, military servicemen, teachers put themselves out there every day for the betterment of others, all while demonstrating real patience in various situations. The key to being patient is to be long-tempered or long-suffering. Take, for example, a parent teaching a child how to walk. They have to be patient. They don't just know how to walk, how to read. How many nights did my mom and dad sit with me going over my vocabulary words? It was difficult. How to teach someone how to drive. Oh my gosh! Talk about put your life at risk. Trying to teach a teenager how to drive. Patient goes even further than that. Newlyweds learning how to compromise. And I figured it out. What is hers is hers, and what is mine is hers. Learning how to compromise, to put the other person before yourself. Grandparents, understanding that despite having raised a child, that same child now has their own family to raise? Patience goes beyond just the family, though. We extend it to friends all the time. We extend it to colleagues all the time. So why is it so unheard of to ask someone to extend it to a stranger? Patience is given to people and not the circumstance or event. It's not about how a situation impacts you. It's about how you can help others around you. In some cases, even those who inconvenience you. Here's where the rubber really meets the road. Why am I holding this pen? I got to put this pen down. Having patience with someone else will often mean that you, in some capacity, are allowing that person to take advantage of you, and often repeatedly. My children take advantage of me all the time. And yet, as a parent, I allow it. That's the same way that we put it into effect with everyone we deal with. We can't allow ourselves to become angry or upset when we're being patient with someone. Wait, I know what you're thinking, and you're about to shut me off. Wait, hear me out. If we truly love someone, then we put the welfare of others before ourselves. That's why I said having patience takes real courage. True love requires absolute strength. It's easy to reject someone, to turn them away, to say no. It takes real courage to say yes and to put yourself out there. If we truly want to demonstrate our Christianity, then we have to choose to exercise love even in the face of adversity. Can you imagine how people must have reacted to Jesus when he taught that you should turn the other cheek when someone slapped you? Too soon? Sorry. Remember, the virtue at the time was vengeance. But Jesus is contradicting this by teaching love. That meant that you were being asked to set aside your personal feelings because love doesn't retaliate. If someone asks you to go a mile, go the extra mile. If someone asks you for your shirt, give them everything you got. No, that's not really how it goes, but you get my point. Why would you do that? Why would you ever allow that sort of thing to happen? Why would you open yourself up so that you could be exposed, so people can laugh at you, so people can mock you, so people could take advantage of you? Why would you put your real person out there for the world to see? Because you're going to make an impact on the one you're showing patience to. Just like Lincoln and Stanton, as a person, you're investing in the lives of those around you, helping them to become more than they are. No, they may not understand it at the moment. They may not appreciate it, but you're having an impact in their life. You're sowing into their life. As a Christian, you're giving God an opportunity to speak to that person. After all, isn't that what being a Christian is really all about? Winning people to Christ, being a fisher of men? Does a fisherman sit on a boat and yell at the fish for not taking the bait? No, you'd scare all the fish away. By that same premise, how will your actions impact those you're trying to be a witness to? A fisherman is patient, even if the sun is beating down on him, even if his belly is rumbling, even if he can think of a million other things that he could be doing at that very moment. You see, he's committed and determined to see this through to the end. He's resolute. Consider how the world reacts to the idea of Christianity based on what it observes Christians doing. Too many times we as Christians say we're Christians with our mouth. We put the bumper sticker on declaring our love for Christ, and yet we never show Christ in our daily lives. We see churches in the news that are out at some funeral protesting. How many times have we heard of people that have gone into a church and the church has rejected them, told them no, kicked them out? We're the face of God. When the world can't see God, they look to us because we're supposed to be the representatives of Christ. Do you get my point? Paul's saying that love is willing to be taken advantage of rather than to take advantage of others, much less to be vengeful. Why? So Christ can be lifted up. How often have our children wronged us? How often have our spouses wronged us? How often have our families wronged us? Our friends? And we were patient. How often have we wronged God? Ever since Adam and Eve took that cursed bite, despite God telling them not to, you and I, have continually disobeyed God. And yet, at Calvary, Christ utters the words, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." How can we who claim to be Christ-like refuse to be patient with others? If Christ, who could have called down the angels from heaven, still chose the cross in our place, then how can we not go the extra mile for those around us? It all boils down to perhaps this one thought. Does Christ belong to us, or do we belong to Christ? If Christ belongs to us, then we're just trying to take advantage of the get out of hell free card. Live our lives the way we want to. We're espousing to the Greeks' idea of life. Eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we will die. Take what is yours. However, if we belong to Christ, then our focus isn't on what we can acquire in this life, but rather those who we can make the difference for. Erwin McManus, in his book, The Barbarian Way, makes this statement, and I think it sums it up. To belong to God is to belong to his heart. I'm Daniel Lee, and I want to say thank you for sticking through this with me to the end. Maybe you've got another thought. Maybe you see patience in another way. I welcome your comments. Just drop them down below. Let me know. Maybe you've got a question you want to talk about. I know that I don't always, sometimes I get busy with life and I don't always see the comments. Maybe it takes me a couple days to see them. There are a couple comments out there that I'm working on stuff for right now. I'm getting to it. Leave a comment below. You don't have to disagree with me. Go study this out for yourself. It's not a matter of what I say. It's about your relationship with Jesus. You have to come to your own conclusion, and you have to live your life the way you think Christ would want you to live it. The Bible tells us, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. I want to acknowledge that a lot of my study for this video came from John MacArthur's commentary on the book of Corinthians. I'm not affiliated with John. I don't know John. He definitely doesn't know me. But if you're looking for a study aid, I highly recommend John MacArthur's commentary on the book of Corinth, 1 Corinthians. I'll leave a link to that book so that you can find it on Amazon. And again, full disclosure, if you decide that you want the book, I think I make 25 cents on it. Also, this book, again, not sponsored. He doesn't know me. I've never met him. But McManus wrote The Barbarian Way. Today, living as a Christian is so hard that the world wants to push us into silence. And he wrote about living a victorious life in Christ, for finding your true strength. And this book made all the difference to me. Again, I'm going to leave a link in the description that if you choose to buy it, I think I make a quarter on it. So it's not like I'm going to make a lot of money. Thank you.